So today I thought we would try and make a pie crust a different way than the way I traditionally do it. And we're going to try using my food processor. So we have 1.5 cups of regular flour because we're doing a deep dish pie crust. So we need a little bit more than what the recipe normally recommends. We need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're just going to let the food processor kind of stir that around a bit. All right, so the next thing we want to add is our nice 5 tablespoons of cold butter. So I'm just using regular butter on this recipe. The pie that I'm going to be making is not easily made vegan, so we're going to leave it as a regular recipe, non-vegan. And we want to add in our shortening, which we have 1/4 cup of vegetable shortening. Again, we had to increase that a little bit because we are doing a deep dish. So I just pop that out, and I'm just going to cut that right off, and see, it just comes out all nice and clean. And now we're going to mix this together a bit. Okay, I'm going to bring this a little bit closer so you guys can see it a little bit better, but I think that would be defined as some nice coarse crumbs. I'm going to mix it a little bit, and then I'm going to let it run through a couple more minutes just to make sure everything's mixed in really good. All right, so the next step we need to do is start adding our water. So we're going to do this 1 tablespoon at a time. We want to have really nice and cold water. So I've had my water sitting in the refrigerator. And we're going to do 4 to 5 tablespoons until our dough starts actually kind of collecting together and forming like an actual dough. All right, so I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon at a time like it suggested. It recommended 4 to 5 tablespoons. I do have a good bit of dough going on right now, but I'm only at 3. I think I want to stop there. Let me show y'all what it looks like. I really kind of think I want to stop there because I've got a good dough rolled at the moment. So I think I'm going to leave that just like that. All right, so the next step we want to do is get our dough out, and we're going to form it into a nice disc so that we can refrigerate it for about 30 minutes. Again, this is not something I normally do with my dough. With my regular recipe, you don't put it in the refrigerator. It seems to not do well. But hey, we're just going to see what happens here. I don't want to miss any of the dough that is a little bit separated. All right. But you see that? We've got a nice good texture. I'm just going to kind of get that in a cohesive ball, and then we're going to flatten it out a little bit. Again, I'm putting that into some Saran wrap. And then we're going to let that sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes while we get our pie plate and our oven preheated and everything like that. So there you go. So our next step is to actually roll out our pie dough that has been sitting in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. All right, so I've got it set where I want it. And now I'm just going to kind of gently get my dough is really wet. I will tell you that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these pieces from other areas and just kind of pat them around so that my dough is down into the, oops, see, I got a tear there. So I'm going to take this and put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. And then while it's in the freezer, we're going to start preheating our oven to 425 degrees. Okay? There you go. And so what we're going to do is in a medium saucepan, we are going to put our 1 cup of brown sugar, our 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, that in there, and then we need our 4 tablespoons of heavy cream, which is equal to 1/4 cup. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to heat this over medium heat. Okay, so we're about 2.5 minutes in, and you can see I'm starting to get a bubble, some nice bubbling around the edges. I'm just stirring constantly because I just don't want it to stick to the pan right now. The recipe doesn't say that, but I just think that would be a good idea. So again, we're about 2.5 minutes in at the moment. Looking for a nice full boil, which we're getting really close. Okay, I'm going to say though, yes, the recipe does say about 5 minutes, which it looks like when I've read it again, it's saying that the mixture needs to be thick and brown, and we are definitely not thick at the moment. So that's why we need to keep going, because I am definitely already at a full boil. I'm glad I reread that. That's why it's always good to keep reading your recipes over and over again, especially when you have never made them before. Okay, so we have about 2 cups of milk that we're slowly pouring into our mixture, trying to keep everything from sticking to the bottom. Okay, we're almost there, just slowly adding our 2 cups into our brown sugar and heavy cream butter mixture. And then we're going to make the rest of our pie. Now what we want to do is we want to whisk our cornstarch, which we have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. We have 3 egg yolks that have been separated. That out. And then we need a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which you guys know I love using my vanilla bean paste. So we're going to be using vanilla bean paste. Okay. All right, now we're going to whisk that together. Let me close that so we don't end up with egg or something inside my vanilla bean paste. All right, so we want to whisk that together. Oh, and we have 1 tablespoon of milk. See, this is what I was telling you guys about. Whenever I'm baking or cooking really for anything, I try to keep all the ingredients together that I'm going to need. That way I know if I've missed something. So it was sitting over here, and obviously I missed it. So that was the 1 tablespoon of milk. All right, now we're going to mix that together a little bit more. So we're going to put everything back on the medium heat. And then we're going to add our mixture that we were just putting together. And I'm just going to use a spatula so that I don't miss any of that. Okay, so we're going to add that until this is thick for about, it says it takes about 3 minutes. So I'm going to set me a timer again. All right, that was 7 minutes. I'm going to try 2 more minutes and just see what we can get. It's definitely not burning, but it is definitely not thickening either. All right, so we cooked it for a really long time and it just did not thicken up. So I'm going to just go ahead and pour it in and hope for the best. Hopefully maybe it'll thicken up once it's in the pie shell. It smells good. It smells really good. Okay. All right. Now we're going to leave that and we're going to go make our meringue. Okay, so keep in mind your oven should be preheating at 350 degrees right now. And right now we're going to make some meringue for our pies. All right, we need to take our 3 egg whites, put those in a bowl. So we get all of that. And then it says we need a pinch of salt. So just put in a little bit of salt. And then we're going to mix that up until we get stiff peaks, which I'll be able to show you what that means. So see how nice and stiff that is? Okay, so now we're going to start gradually adding 1/4 cup sugar until we get it nice and stiff and it makes peaks. And I'll be able to show you what that means in just a minute too. So we're going to slowly start adding our sugar. Alright. Now we are going to put this on top of our beautiful pie and stick it in the oven for a few minutes. Let's get this out of the way. Alright, let's see if we can spread this on this pie. It is still very, very loose, so I'm really worried about that. But again, that's the fun of starting a new recipe you've never done before. Okay, so we're going to take our pie and we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes just to kind of give that meringue a nice little brown and hope that it will set that butterscotch filling. But we'll see what happens. So there you have it. There is my butterscotch pie with meringue on the top. I will not say that at this point in time, I won't say this one is a success because I really don't know if that butterscotch has solidified underneath. But we will find out. We're going to let it sit here and cool for a little while, and then we are going to cut into it and let y'all see. All right, so let's see. We're going to try and cut into this and see if it solidified at all. I'm not quite sure. So let's see. Looks like my meringue shrunk a lot. Everything feels very wet. All right, can you guys see? I'm going to try and see if I can pull out a piece. Well, it stayed together a little bit. That's a pretty good size meringue going on there. I'm just going to take a little spoonful and see. I will say the pie crust did not turn out like I wanted to. I will be going back to my traditional pie crust. Ooh, that tastes really good though. It looks kind of tragic, but it tastes pretty good. So again, hope y'all like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will keep making great bakes for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.